Okay, so, we'll start today with I want here to remind you, today we have the topics revenue and profit. So we have such a beautiful picture, you see. It's really, it's help to you. It's help to you to remind you. So what is the total cost? Yes. And the formula here for total cost. So this is all cost formulas that you can use, yeah. So the total cost is the complete cost of producing output. You see here how we calculate it by plusing total variable plus total fixed cost, yes. So on the left we have the total fixed one and the total variable. So the total fixed cost does not depend on the quantity of output. I just remind you because we had this topic just twice here, and also give you the tasks with solution. Yeah. So the total fixed cost doesn't depend on the quantity of output, and it is a cost of fixed output. Yes. So it's rent, real estate, tax, administration cost, lighting, heating, security. So it's a constant fixed amount. So, and total variable cost, so it depends on quantity of output produced. If fixed does not, so the total variable cost, they depend on quantity of output, because we are extending production. Yes, we want you to produce more product, so we also put some additional labor resources there. So as I mentioned there, yeah, labor, materials, energy. So these kind of resources, they increases, yeah. The total variable cost increases as the firm uses more variable factors. So it increases the output. So also I gave you the formula, remind you, but not, I gave you already. So remind you the average total cost, how we calculate it, yeah. And average fixed cost, it was a fixed cost per unit of output. And average variable cost is a variable cost per unit of output. Yes, variable. So it's variable cost. So, and also, yeah, giving the formula there. So it's pretty good picture to you. I decided to make it, yes, like a help to you. So it should be always on the, just in front of you, yeah. So the marginal cost is the increase in total cost of producing an extra unit of output. That's all, yes, solutions I gave you in a address, yes, case, if you remember. So we calculated, so average fixed cost, average variable cost, marginal cost, and also, yeah, explain, yeah, how it's happening. So revenue. So revenue, I think you know, yes, revenue. So revenue is a receipt of funds by the enterprise for the activity the company does, for work performs. Yeah. So what kind of form? So any activity work performs, services rendering. So from capital transactions to non-operating current transactions. So revenue is economic category expresses. Yeah. So it's first of all that it expresses the relations of economic responsibility or rational use of production and intellectual resources. So it's relations regarding the production and sale of goods and products and services. So, and also economic risk relations. These kind of categories, so as I mentioned to you, always kept in mind. So types of revenue, what kind of types we have? So revenue from sales of products. So work performed or services provided. So is the main part of enterprise total income, yeah. So in the second one, the revenue from the sale of fixed assets and intangible assets of the enterprise. So you see the fixed one, it's intangible, yeah, intangible fixed assets, yeah. So, okay, so it can be some equipment, yeah, building. So the labor resource is also fixed one. So I told if we modernize and we develop and also, yeah, trying to modernize and produce more items and new, and we have new product development, then we are joining there the variable costs, okay? So, and also the dividends, yeah, from the sources outside of the Republic. So revenue of participants of organization in cash or in kind, yes, upon liquidation of the organization. So it can be a withdrawal of participant from the membership of the organization. So it's kind, yes, some worker can, yes, some workers can be hired or some workers can be fired, yes, too. So it's also influence on, yeah. Revenue in the form of interest for provision of organization funds for use, as well as interest for the bank user funds, yeah, in a bank account. Amounts of penalties, strafe, да? Amounts due as a result of application of other liability measures, including as a result of compensation for losses, for violation of contractual obligation. And we, yes, violate them. So it's also give us the revenue, yeah. So it's also it's also a type of revenue, okay. So the cost of gratuitously received goods, so it's works, services, property rights, other assets, as the amount of graciously received funds. They all, yeah, types of revenues, but they all, as I told you, so revenues that it's not rationalized and are not implemented, not revenues that not implemented, yeah. Okay, so it can be also the payment, yeah, the amount of repayment of receivables. Это дебиторские задолженности, да. Вот мы не могли выплатить, да, эти наши задолжения, не выплаты, то дебиторские задолженности. After the expiration of the limitation period, потому что каждый этот имеет выплаты свои сроки, да. As well the amounts of repayment of receivables as that are impossible, yes, to collect. So amounts of accounts payable for which of statute of limitation has expired. So revenue from the rental operations. Rental operations, это арендные, да? So financial leasing of property. Funds received free of charge as part of targeting financing from the Republic and local budget or state extra budgetary funds. То есть это вот мы получаем иногда, да, субсидии, получаем какие-то, скажем, беспроцентные, да, какие-то вот инвестиции, все это входит сюда, да, в это финансирование. То есть это целевое финансирование. Целевое обычно на, скажем, на модернизацию, на расширение производства, на диверсификацию продукции они используются. Revenue from the sale of foreign currency in the amount of positive difference generated as a result of deviation. Deviation – это отклонение, да? Вот from foreign currency sale rate of the official rate. Вот курс валюты тоже играет, да? То есть он тоже имеет место, да, здесь действует на систему, да, доходов. So they all, yeah, controlled by the National Bank of the Republic on the date of the sale. То есть именно по, скажем, по дате реализации. То есть если сегодня, например, валюта столько-то на следующий день, то есть она именно по этой дате считается. Реализации, обмена, вот именно курса по этой дате. Revenue from the exchange of one type of foreign currency for another type of foreign currency. So revenue of the payer in the performance of his activities, not directly related to production, sale of goods, work services, property rights. So this is a pretty non-performed, yes, non-performed revenues. Okay. So revenue, so it's a theory of revenue, yeah. So I gave you the revenue. The concept is the income that a firm receives from selling its products, goods, and services over a certain time period. So we have total revenue, TR. It's a total amount of money that a firm receives from selling a certain amount of goods or services in a given time period. So TR is equal, yeah, so P, we're multiplying for Q, for amount, okay? So, and we have the total revenue here. The average one, so the revenue that a firm receives per unit of its sales. So we have average one there, and also a formula. So we divide the total revenue, so it's relation to quantity. So in a marginal one, the extra revenue that the firm gains when it sells one more unit. Это предельное, да? Предельный доход. So sells its more unit for a product in a given time. So also you have the relation of change of total revenue to the change of quantity. So we have three formula there. So we also look at, yes, and on the revenue curves, how they behaves, yes, and give you revenue curves and output. So the first case, when the revenue, when the price does not change with output, when the elasticity of demand is infinite, когда эластичность спроса, она не определена, да, is infinite, да, беспредельно, так, is if a firm does not have to lower price as output increases, it wishes to sell more of its product and services, yeah, and it faces a perfectly elastic demand curve. So the product is going to be elastic, yeah, the demand is going to be elastic, sorry. So it happens in theory, but it's used for the models, how the market works. So it's really the theoretical base, but in practice, it can also behave maybe a little bit different with this small deviations, okay? We can assume that the firm is very small, does not affect total industry supply. So it can sell for the same price each unit. So it also demonstrated here, so the total, if the total revenue, so it increases at a constant price as the quantity increases, because we produce more items, yeah, there. So if it's average revenue, marginal revenue, and total revenue, so when the elasticity of demand, perfect elasticity of demand, it's for perfect competition, yeah? So it's infinite. То есть эластичность, она не имеет границ, да, здесь. То есть выбор за нашей продукцией, за нашими услугами у потребителей, да. Revenue, the second one, when the price falls, as output increases, yeah, when the demand curve is downward sloping. So it's when elasticity of demand falls as the output increases. То есть насыщается, да, потребитель насыщается, тем самым спрос падает, да, на продукцию здесь. То есть здесь уже идет снова возможность, то есть намеренно производство либо диверсифицировать, либо расширять, то есть модернизировать здесь, переход на новую ступень. Okay? So I gave you also here some example. So for example, yeah, when the drop is, when the price dropped from 40 to 35, yeah, you see here 40, yeah, to 35, yeah. The quantity drops from 4 to 6, yeah, and total revenue, yes, for quantity demanded 4, was $160 there. So you see here on the line. So, and after the price drop, the total revenue for quantity 6, so it becomes 210, yes, in dollars, okay? So the marginal is 25. Скажите, как вы рассчитали? Ну-ка, включите свой микрофон. У нас вот получается 25. Включите микрофоны свои. Алло!
Ну, тут как бы change in marginal revenue будет
Так,
10.
посмотрите, вот здесь, да? Значит, снова формула, да? Change in total revenue. У нас формула была, да, с вами? Я сейчас не хочу переходить на другой слайд. Вот total revenue, change с 210 на 160, да? Получается разница у нас 40, да? Ой, 50 получается
50.
разница, да? То есть, а здесь quantity demanded, то есть количество, которое пользуется спросом, 6 минус 4 получается 2, да? Мы делим 50 на 2, у нас получается marginal revenue, видите? Предельный доход на единицу, да? Предельный доход на дополнительную единицу, да? Вот у нас есть average, это каждая единица, да? Вот стоимость на каждую, а это на дополнительную единицу. Видите, получилось? На дополнительную единицу получилось 15 у нас. 25 получилось. 25, да? Видите?
Да, да.
So, for a normal downsloping demand curve, total revenue, it goes up at first, but eventually start to slow down. Yes, dropping down. So as output increases. So this is because the extra revenue gained from the dropping price and selling more units is overweighted by the loss in revenue from the units that were being sold at a higher price and now have to be sold at a lower price. Вот я здесь специально вам вот красным пометила, да, причина этого. Вот причина, исход какой, вот красным я пометила, да, здесь, почитайте, почему это произошло, да? Okay? Так, so we have there, yes, if perfect elasticity of demand is equal to 1, so the total revenue is maximized. So therefore, the perfect elasticity of demand is equal 1 when the marginal return is 0. So when the marginal return is 0, so therefore, yes, to the left of the point when the... Мне надо вот сюда перейти, да, сюда. Вот это все мы сейчас увидим вот здесь, да, на графике увидим с вами. So if it's therefore to the left of the point, если есть отклонение, да, налево отклонение, so perfect elasticity demand is equal 1. On the demand curve, then the perfect elasticity demand will be greater than 1. То есть здесь эластичность больше единицы становится здесь. Therefore, to the right, when the point where PED, да, равно единице, so perfect elasticity of demand is equal to 1, on the demand curve, вот уже на кривой спроса, PED, perfect elasticity of demand, will be less than 1. The basic rules are, so the PD is elastic. Any firm wishes to increase revenue should lower its price. Вы посмотрите, вот когда эластично, да, эластичен спрос, да, здесь, она старается что делать? Повысить доходы свои, да, занижая цены за счет оборота. So when PD is inelastic, any company wishing to increase revenue should raise its price. Вот когда они эластичные, что они делают? Они повышают доходы за счет чего? За счет завышения цен. When it's unity, значит, единица, да? When a company wishing to increase revenue should leave the price unchanged, then the revenue is already maximized. So the company knows whether the demand is elastic or inelastic, да? They will know what pricing policy to adopt to increase revenue. Но здесь получается эластичный продукт не эластичен, вы знаете, да? То есть либо это, скажем, есть заменители, да, данной продукции, да? Например, вот газовая промышленность, да, мы вчера вам проходили вот по конкуренции, несколько этих, да, у нас вот несколько производств газовых, несколько вот этих бензоколонок, да, они имеют разные цены. То есть либо это сезонно, либо это, скажем, по посещению, да, этих как клиентов, да, либо, скажем, по производственной мощности, сколько имеется продукции, да, для реализации, для ее реализации. То есть здесь идет разные варианты. Но если, конечно, продукция эластична, то они стараются, то есть набрать вот эти вот доходы за счет оборота, то есть занижать цены и тем самым за счет оборота получают данные доходы. So you see here the second one, revenue when the price falls, its output increases, да? Там у нас цена завышалась, да? И продукция тем самым, output increases. When the demand curve is down, yes, down sloping, здесь она повышалась, да? Значит, больше единиц, эластичность. So it's down sloping. When the elasticity at demand falls, as output increases. Output. То есть здесь производство, скажем, повышается производство, да, number one, повышается производство за счет чего? Вот повышается производство, скажем, ресурсы, да, вот, скажем, по договорным, да, вот этим сырьевые ресурсы, да, скажем, или распределение трудовых ресурсов, равномерное распределение трудовых ресурсов, да, скажем, или экономное использование, эффективное использование ресурсов. So in this case, so average revenue is equal P. So it falls as the output increases, since the price has to be lowered in order to sell more products. So in this case, yeah, the D is equal R, AR. So demand, значит, равен, да, среднему доходу, да, среднему, AR. So the marginal revenue also falls as output increases, but at a greater than average return. So in this fact, so marginal return curve is twice as steeply sloping as the AR. Вы наблюдаете за этими, да, вот за буквами вот этими, да, аббревиатурами. So the AR curve, and it goes below x-axis. Then it's a relationship, how it's called, for all the downsloping AR curves. And MR curves as they relate to them. So MR, here the marginal return, is below, да, получается ниже, да, чем average return, because in order to sell more products, the firm has to lower the price of all the products. Здесь получилось за счет чего? Они потеряли доход, да? Они решили продать больше продуктов и занизили цены на всю продукцию. So they lose revenue on the ones they could have been sold at higher price in order to get the revenue from the extra sales. То есть здесь получается все-таки, да, спрос-предложение на рынке, как эластичен продукт. То есть я вам сказала, да, постоянно борьба между спросом и имеет место, конечно, мы говорили, рыночные структуры вчера, конкуренция, совершенной конкуренции и несовершенной, где монополия, да, олигополия и чистая, да, монополия. Мы вчера с вами разговаривали. Вот и они вот эти вот, скажем, факторы, да, имеют место согласно вот этим соответствующим рыночным структурам. Okay? Если это конкуренция, то здесь получается, например, да, то мы можем сыграть, скажем, на ценовом факторе, да, вот мы можем сыграть на факторе ценовом и на правильном распределении производственных ресурсов здесь, okay? So it's, если это, например, сезонное, тоже, да, ценовой фактор, то здесь больше идет ценовой фактор, скажем, да, и эффективное использование этих данных производственных ресурсов. Okay? So I gave you also some exercises here to put, yes, to feel some exercise. They also very very interesting, yeah, to solve only 2-1, but it's for your general, yes, general information. So, and I want to, yes, to go to profit. Но вы знаете, когда мы говорим о доходах, да, мы иногда вот говорим терминологию, да, мы начинаем путать терминологию, да, что такое вот доход. Я вам дам вот следующую вот эту вот разноску терминологии, именно в английской терминологии, да, мы путаем с income, там путаем больше с income мы путаем revenue, да. Вот это я вам в следующей презентации вот дам, она готова сегодня, да. So, but now we'll, yes, continue with profit, yes. So we'll talk about the profit theory, types of profit, gross, we have gross profit, operating profit, это прибыль, да, net profit, profitability ratios, possible revenue figures for a farm when a perfectly elastic demand curve. So we have shutdown, убыточная, да, цена, breakdown, безубыточная, да, цена, the profit, maximizing the level of output. So what is a profit? So what a profit, so profit prescribes the financial benefit that we received, yes, when the revenue generated from business activity exceed the expenses, costs, taxes involved in maintaining some activity, yes. So any profit earned, so funnel back to business owners who choose to either pocket in the cash or reinvest it back to the business. So profit is calculated there. So I gave you also the formula, yeah, and I put it like with beautiful red lines, yeah. So to profit is calculated as a total revenue less expenses. Значит, это общая, да, общая выручка, совокупная выручка минус совокупные расходы, да, издержки. Okay. What does the profit tell you? So the profit is the money a business pulls in after accounting for all expenses. So whether it's a limonade, yes, stand as a publicly traded multinational company, the primary goal of any business is to earn money. So therefore, a business performance is based on profitability in its various forms. So some economists, they're interested in top line profitability, whereas the other interested in profitability before taxes and other expenses. But still, others are only concerned with profitability after all expenses that have been paid, да? Прибыльность, да, profitability, okay? Рентабельность, да, мы говорим, profitability. Types of profit. So there are 3 major types of profit. There's a gross profit, operating profit, and net profit. то есть валовая, да, прибыль, операционная и чистая, да, all of which can be found in the income statement. So each profit type gives analysts more information about the company's performance, especially when it's compared to other competitors in time periods. Okay, so we'll start with the gross profit. So here we have, the first level of profitability, so is a gross profit, okay? So which is sales minus the cost of goods sold. So sales are the first line item on the income statement. So the cost of goods sold, then I gave you the abbreviation there, yes, that one, okay? Okay, it's generally listed just below it. For example, if the company A has $100,000 in sales and the cost of goods sold of 60,000, it means the gross profit is 40,000, or 100,000 minus 60,000. Yes, it's divide the gross profit by sales for the gross profit margin, so which is a 40%, да? 40%, значит. So, or 40,000 dividend by 100,000, yeah? So the gross profit, so we have the formula there, so the gross profit, it's total sales minus the cost of sold goods, yes, there. So I will give you the this one without abbreviation to make it sorry. So it is a cost, so I put it, yes, in of sold goods, okay, to make it clear, yeah, okay, sold goods or services, yeah, so goods or services, okay, then the next one, operating. So it's a gross profit, то есть годовая, да, прибыль, годовая прибыль, общая, значит, продажи, да, минус, то есть стоимость, да, стоимость, издержки на проданную продукцию, так, минус, okay, operating one. So operating profit is calculated by deducting operating expenses from the gross profit. Okay, so gross profit looks at profitability after direct expenses, and operating profit looks like a profitability after operating expenses. So this is like selling, general and administrative cost. Yeah, if the company has, for example, A has 20,000 in operating expenses, for the operating profit is 40,000 minus 20,000, so equaling is 20,000. So dividing operating profit by sales for operating profit margin, so which is at 20%. So operating profit, so here the formula, so gross profit minus operating expenses. Okay, so and operating profit margin, so we're calculating the 20% operating profit, so we're dividing in the total sales. Okay, so net profit, so net profit is the income, yeah, left after all expenses, including taxes and interests, have been paid. So if the interest is $5,000 and taxes are another 5,000, so the net profit is calculated by deducting both of these from operating profit. So in the example of the company A, the answer was 20,000 minus 10,000, so which is equals 10,000, and we divide net profit by sales for the net profit margin. So we have 10%. This is процентов, да? So the net profit, so is equal to the formula here. It's equal, so operating minus operating profit minus taxes and interest. So then, and finally, we have three types, yes, of profit. Then we go to coefficient рентабельности, да, we say profitability ratio. So profitability ratio, it's a class of financial metrics then used to assess the business ability to generate earnings, выручку, да, relative to its revenue, operating costs, balance sheet assets, shareholders' equity over time, and using data from specific point in time. So for most profitability ratios, having a higher value rate relative to competitors ratio or relative to the same ratio from the previous period indicates the company is doing well. То есть, когда мы берем, насколько, то есть есть производительность высокая или низкая, то мы сравниваем с предыдущим годом, да? Profitability ratios are the most useful when they compare to similar companies. So the company's own history and average ratio for the company's industry. То есть, когда, например, вот есть партнеры, они хотят вкладывать деньги, да, то есть они всегда, как они могут узнать, насколько эффективно производство, эффективна деятельность компании, то есть они берут предыдущую, да, рассматривают прибыль, предыдущие, скажем, издержки, да, данной компании, транзакции за 3 года, за 2 года, и тогда уже будет ясно, насколько она была рентабельно было производство. Okay, so how to use profitability ratio? So profitability ratios, so the one of the most popular metrics used in financial analysis, and they generally fall into 2 categories, margin ratio and return ratio. So margin ratio give insight from several different agents, so of the company ability to turn sales into profit. The return ratio, they offer several different ways to examine how well a company generates a return for its shareholders. Some examples of profitability ratio are profit margin is return on assets or return on equity. То есть возврат, да, по активам, возврат по капиталу. То есть когда это рассчитывается, то есть знать, насколько рентабельно, да, то есть вкладывать, да, ресурсы, вкладывать инвестиции, вот тогда вот рассчитывается, вот высчитывается вот это коэффициент, да, возврата коэффициент, да, так, коэффициент прибыльности говорят, да, return on assets and return on equity, okay? So profit margin, so different profit margins are used to measure a company's profitability at various cost levels, including gross margin, operating margin, pre-tax margin, net profit margin. So, and the margin swing, yes, is a layer of additional costs are taken into consideration. So here we give the example of a cost, yes, the cost of goods sold and operating expenses and taxes, yes. The gross margin, so measures how much a company makes after accounting. So accounting the cost, yes, of sold goods, okay. So the operating margin is a percentage of sales left after covering. So the cost of sold goods and operating expenses. So the pre-tax, предналоговая маржа. So it shows the company profitability after further accounting and non-operating expenses. То есть здесь не учитываются неоперационные, да, вот эти расходы. The net profit margin, so in the company ability to generate earnings after all expenses and taxes. So this is a difference between them, how they calculated the gross operating and pre-tax and profit margin. Return on assets, то есть ROA, да? Profitability, so assessed as relative to costs, expenses, and analyzed in comparison to assets. And we see how effective the company is deploying assets so, to generate sales and profits. So they use the term return in the return of assets ratio customarily refers to the net profit or net income and the value of these earnings from sales after all costs, expenses and taxes. Значит, здесь вычитываются все издержки, все, скажем, расходы, операционные расходы, да, и налоги. So return of assets is a net income divided by the total assets. So the more asset the company has amassed, then the more sales and potential profit the company may generate. So the economies of scales help us to lower the costs and improve margins. So return may grow at a faster rate than the assets, ultimately increasing the return on assets. So a return of equity, то есть, скажем, капитал, да, капитал это наши вот эти основные, да, активы. So is a key ratio for shareholders. It measures the company's ability to earn a return on its equity investments. The ROE is a net income divided in shareholders' equity. And shareholders, вы знаете, да, акционеры, то есть те, которые вкладывают, да, в развитие, да, бизнеса, деятельность компании. The ROE, return on equity, may increase without additional equity investment. So the ratio can rise due a higher net income, due a large asset base funded with a debt. So for possible, yeah, revenue figures for a company with a perfectly elastic demand curve there. So I give you some examples also here. So how the company make a profit, yes. So here with the figures, so on the left, so we have total revenue. So so different than three companies there. So they use and give the information for total, yes. So a measure of total fixed costs, total variable costs there, so and implicit costs. Implicit, помните, у нас были, да, неявные, да, вот эти вот расходы. Explicit явные, implicit неявные, да, расходы. То есть здесь посмотрите, and the total cost. So they are after, yes, all the deductions, yeah, there. So we calculate that. So how we calculate that? So this company is making abnormal profit. То есть здесь, скажем, значит, ту прибыль, которая она, economic profit, она выполнила, прибыль получила, то есть либо завышенную, либо заниженную, да, прибыль получила. Economic profit, we say, of 20,000. So this means the revenue earned by the company, so is not covering all the economic costs there. But in fact, so 20,000 more, yeah, this will make them entrepreneur happy as they will expect to cover all the implicit costs, including opportunity cost of 60,000, but exceed his expectation by 20,000. То есть они получили, да, вот, скажем, издержки, да, у них были 20, да, получилось, экономические, да, вот эти экономические издержки 20. Но все же предприниматель, он рассчитывал, скажем, да, что 60, скажем, его ожидания были 60 тысяч, но все же получилось, что, значит, чтобы покрыть свои неявные издержки это какие издержки? То есть которые бухгалтером, да, не используются в проводке, это, скажем, ну, вне какие-то расходы, вне бюджетные расходы, там рекламная деятельность, да, там, скажем, еще какие-то социальные, да, нужды, все-таки он смог покрыть, да, определенные свои вот эти вот неявные издержки. The company B is making normal profit, то есть обычная прибыль, so zero economic profit. The revenue earned by the firm exactly covers all the economic costs and the entrepreneur will be satisfied. То есть в этом случае, то есть он получил даже zero, да, economic profit, zero, нулевая, все-таки покрыл все экономические свои издержки, и он остался доволен, да, этим. То есть безубыточная, да. The firm C is making losses. Здесь вот видите, 200 тысяч получилась общая выручка, да. Is making losses. Здесь он 220 на 20, да, у него идет, то есть убыточная, да. Is making losses. Although an account would say that the firm making profit of 20,000. То есть от 200 тысяч, значит, убираем 160, 40, да, получилось. То есть прибыль 40. The entrepreneur will not be happy since fixed and variable cost explicit, да. То есть явные, да, cost are covered. То есть если бухгалтер ему говорит, вот у нас задолженность, но они смогли покрыть эту задолженность, да, в отличие от экономической, да, то есть они покрыли эту задолженность, да, и он, значит, то есть implicit costs are not being covered, то есть здесь не смогли покрыть, то есть, да, не смогли покрыть, значит, the entrepreneur will close the firm down and move to his or best, yes, occupation. Значит, убыточное производство, и он возвращается к своей другой обычной деятельности. Okay. Shutdown, убыточная, значит, цена убыточная, да? Здесь definition. The shutdown price is a level of price that enables a firm to cover its variable costs in the short run. So that is the price is a price where the price is average variable costs. If the price does not cover average variable cost, then the firm will shut down in a short run. То есть здесь за короткий период, да, уже определилось то, что он не смог покрыть свои средние, да, вот эти средние переменные расходы. То есть переменные расходы, он, например, открыл производство, да, то есть получил, например, кредит какой-то, да, он не смог покрыть и не смог, то есть у него задолженность, да, и тем самым, значит, получилось убыточное, да, производство. То есть в этом случае что он должен делать? То есть здесь имеет место, то есть либо там модернизировать, да, либо что-то новое, то есть производство, которое лишено определенной, да, определенного, которое подвержено убыткам. То есть здесь расходы были сделаны, то есть неправильно он распределил там свои ресурсы, вложил свои деньги, тем самым, значит, вот такая картина печальная получилась здесь вот именно, да. So average costs, вот здесь получилось, что average cost, видите, идут с fixed cost, то есть здесь идет параллельно, идет, да, цена завышается здесь, то есть упала вот в цене, то есть variable cost, упали, да, вот эти вот, то есть производство упало за счет того, что, например, здесь, ну, какой-то из, скажем, какого-то сегмента или какой-то компонент не был учитан, да, здесь. Может быть, если это, например, какие товары, сезонность, да, товары, сегмент, пропорциональность использования, там, ну, разного вида, да, скажем, или там, скажем, не учитана процентная ставка, да, по, скажем, по выплате, да, этих вот кредитов, то есть либо он попал именно в, скажем, вот эти колебания, да, цен, там какое-то критическое, да, критическое какое-то состояние. Okay? So if it's shut down, it's also there, yes, shut down. Вот посмотрите, лосс сколько у него, 120 тысяч, да, вот 200 тысяч, то есть вложил 200 тысяч, общий, да, вот эти вот, общая стоимость проекта 200, а здесь получилось 80 тысяч, на 120 у него идет вот эта разница, да, 120, то есть убыточное, да, производство здесь. И дальше, например, 100, да? Здесь 220. Вот получается здесь тоже убыточное производство на 100, например, да, а здесь на 90. То есть он в убытке, да? Да. Ну вот видите, даже вот это вот комические эти, ну как ты же сделал, ну как ты все-таки бизнес построил, да? Profit theory. So here that I gave you the definitions for the shutdown price is a level of price that enables a company to cover all the variable cost in the short run. So, and if the price there, so it's equal to average variable costs. So if the price does not cover average variable costs, then the firm will shut down in the short run. So, and the break-even price, когда он, например, получает, да, определенную прибыль, ну, пусть даже будет там 5%, 10%, да, so the price the firm is able to cover all the total costs because P is equal to ATC, average total cost, and so all the costs are covered. Но самое главное, вот фиксированные издержки покрыты здесь, да, фиксированные издержки. То есть и бухгалтер рад здесь, и предприниматель, да, рад, что они смогли воспользоваться, да, данными ресурсами, даже если будет нулевая, да, здесь будет, то есть покрыты все издержки, ну, значит, можно будет еще поработать над этой ситуацией. Ну, здесь вот как раз описывается, вот, when the break-even price is the price when the firm is able to make normal profit in the long run. This means it will break even, covering all its costs, including opportunity cost. Opportunity – это выбор, да? Либо там, скажем, определенную модель выпустить машины, да? Либо, скажем, произвести какое-то изделие, да, которое будет иметь выгоду эластично, да, на рынке. То есть спрос будет эластичен по цене на рынке. The break-even price is a level of price that enables a company to cover all of its costs in the long run. So it is a price where price is equal to average total cost. And the price does not cover average total cost in the long run, then the company will shut down for good. So, and I also we see it here, yes, in this picture, yes. So it's average cost, yes, it goes here along with the average total cost, along with the average variable cost. And we have the marginal cost, it's diminishing, yes, diminishing. But the outputs, it goes, yeah, proportionally, yeah, the output. So we can see that it's not shut down, yes, shut even price, yeah, but break even price. So, and the average total cost here is equal to P, yes. Average total cost is equal to P, okay? So the profit maximizing level of the output. So the economists usually assume that the main goal of the company to maximize profit. So, in this case, so the company needs to know what level of output they have to produce in order to achieve maximum profit. So if the company finds that its present level of the output, the cost of producing another unit is less than the revenues, then the unit would bring in marginal revenue. So it's clear then the company could increase the profits by producing more. So wherever the company finds that marginal revenue, it's more than the marginal cost, so it should increase production. So, and you can see also the marginal cost and the marginal revenue in situation when we have the elastic, yes, elastic demand there. So the demand is equal to average revenue to marginal revenue there. Okay, so in this case, so we have the profit maximizing level, so we can increase the production. Okay, so this is two topics. Yes, I want to illustrate you, and I prepared just for your reference. Yeah, some of them, in general, they have the differences. Yes, and income, revenue, and profit, and I give you some descriptions for that. Yes, so what is income? So what is the revenue? Okay, and we have what kind of concept we use. Yes, so for income, and what is the revenue? So actually revenue, it's what the company received. So receipts of the company, and the income is it's government, the company receive regularly. So this is a revenue. It's not the income revenue, but revenue is goes, yes, for physical, yes, physical, okay, people. So it also, I can see here the concept that today we are discussing, the revenue, total revenue, income, so it's illustration, of financial statements actually. So, and income or profit, so also differ. So income, so its profit refers to the difference between how much money is spent and earned, over a period. Then the income represents the actual amount of money earned in a given time. Okay, so profit is financial term and refers to any revenue left after expenses. Okay, so it's for revising this material. Okay, and some other differences here. So profit is seen when the expenses from revenue are taken out, while the income seen when all expenses incurred for the business are subtracted. So the profit refers to the difference between how much money is spent or earned in a given period, while income represents the actual money earned in a given period. Okay, so the profit is used to determine how much cash flow is available versus the company's total cost, and the income shows the total amount of money a company can utilize. So it's pretty, a good picture to differ these two concepts. So, and also give you some example for how we calculate the profit example. So on the example of the companies that purchase, FEL, corporation purchased several products for 1,000. The company paid $200, dollars in labor cost and 100 in additional material, for a total 1,030 spent in the cost of goods sold. So this corporation then sold the goods produced for a total is 1,500. So the total sales was 1,500, and the cost of goods sold 1,300. Then the sales minus cost of goods sold, then we have 200 after dedication, from 1,500, 1,300. And so we see that the corporation total profit is 200, yes? Okay, so, and the income example there, so we see that corporation spent 1,000, here's the same picture, on the coals that sold during the fiscal period. So they also pay 300 in marketing, advertising fees, $15 on interest fees related to loans, and 1,000 and administrative fees and wages. So the corporation earned a total 4,000 for the same period of time through sales. So the total sale here, $4,000. So the cost of goods sold is $1,000, but other business expenses, how we calculate them? So we put here $300 that we render for marketing and advertising fees, then $15 for interest rates, and 1,000. So we have business expenses, 1,350. Then we total sales minus total expenses. So we have 2,665. The corporation total profit for that fiscal period was 665. So this is a profit one. Yes, example, this is income one. Okay. So I think it will be a very good clue to you. Yeah, ключ, да, to you, and reminder. So we'll talk about when we talk about the profit and income. Okay. So I see just a few people sitting today. That is really sad story for us. Okay. 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 Any questions to me?
No, everything clear.
I think you have a clear view of it can differ. Yes, revenue from income, profit from income. Yes, you already smart in this because you actually the people then translating and also doing some task, and so always exchanging them. Okay, and that's why there is such kind of information to you to differ them, to distinguish them, yes, to calculate. So you got pretty many formulas, yeah, to calculate them. Okay. Any questions? So if you haven't questions, so I need, yes, only 5 minutes, yes, to have a break. And then we'll go to, I want to give you some more topics on economics, but I think today it will be enough. 2 topics, profit and revenue, yes, and the difference between them. So 2 lectures, I think it's enough to you, yes, to revise, yes, to study them again, okay? So in 5 minutes, I will come again, yes, for business communication, okay?
Okay.
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 Okay.